All right, guys, welcome to the Cha Rule Show. This is a cup of coffee with Charles. Enjoying a Friday, here to help enlighten everybody on a case-by-case basis in equity. You're free to ask any and all questions, and I will answer them all as I can. I spend time on everybody. If anybody has any personal questions, that's what this time is set aside for. The live recording of this video will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I post exclusive stuff on YouTube, on Telegram group. I have playlists to help everybody. I have a website with auxiliary information, which is basically where I got the basis chunk of all of the knowledge that I'm speaking from, because I studied for many, many, many years and I had to sift through many, many, many mentors and put a lot of puzzle pieces together, big kids puzzle pieces. And I've always been really good at trying to break things down to its simple fundamentals in order to start building and laying foundations for everybody. I was laying my own foundations, of course, because it's like the airplane mentality. You know, you have to secure your own face mask before you can start helping others, right? And although you can help others when you're in a very weakened and sad state, but you're just most effective when you're running on all cylinders. Awareness Daily. I finally have a sound understanding regarding the game, de facto versus de jure, public versus private. That is phenomenal. I'd love to hear what you've come across. My grandfather taught me a great lesson before he passed away, and he said that you can learn from anybody. You can learn something from everybody. And so I always try to take the neutral ground position of being able to stay open to receive all kinds of information. Now, if it's negative and way off course and like I've already done it, you know, that's the reason why I made a lot of my videos on my playlist, is because I was answering the same questions over and over again, because a lot of these things that go around and spread like wildfire, they're not true, you know, and they have a little bit of truth in them, and they sound so good and so easy, like old Brie Divine just say, oh, tell the IRS you're a human and you're good, you're done, you don't have to pay taxes ever again. You know, so some of that garbage that goes around like wildfire, or you know, your 1099 remittances, like signing the bottom of a bill, and when everything's in trust and equity, and that is like the most highest and powerful form that's out there. And when you start learning about trust and equity, you can understand that everything has there's a beneficiary, a trustee, and a grantor. And when you learn that all of your commercial value has been pledged equitably and legally in trust to the state, and you know, they allow you to do a lot of things. It's all a benefit and privilege, but it's their property when you start dealing in the U.S. citizen and stuff. And you have to be mindful when you're using somebody else's stuff when they allow. But a lot of patriots get mad. They get very upset, and it's understanding. It's understanding when you start to learn all this stuff. It can be overwhelming. You can drown. There's so much misinformation, and that's why I'm here to try to help. I'm not very good at holding everybody's hand, doing baby steps, case by case, but I am able to come on here and help reach a lot of people one-on-one and give the best guidance I can. But you know, feel free for any of y'all, if there's something that you don't want to ask here in the chat, you can also DM me, you can email me, you can call me, and I do my best to answer everybody. It might take a day or two because I've got a lot going on, but I am starting to get back in the swing. I'm getting back in the groove. Ja sui juris, or Ya, the man, the myth, the legend. Charles, how's it going? I'm doing phenomenal. I'm loving life. I'm enjoying myself. It's just an amazing time. The stock market's down a little bit, but excuse me, I gotta start muting the mic when I do that. But other than that, you know, everything is peachy keen and looking good. Nice to see you too, Sean Handler. How y'all been? It's Friday. I don't know if it's sweating like a swamp where y'all are at, and I don't know if it's just me or the humidity, because I think it's 90. It's like 96 today, 97. And the other day I was working at my girl's house, and it was like 80. When it gets above 80, when it hits 80, I just sweat sitting there. But I think it's the humidity, because I was over there one day and it was 84 or 85 out there, and I was working and I wasn't sweating, and so I'm thinking it's got to be the humidity. And last time I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I tried to use one of those dehumidifiers in a room but I think it sucks all the moisture out of my mouth. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and have cotton mouth. I'll be like, hey man, where's my water? I can't talk. Like my whole throat will be dry. But yeah, I think it's the humidity that just makes me sweat so bad. And I don't, it's just I'm kind of cursed with that. That's what it is. Well, happy for everybody to be on here. For some reason, it's not allowing me to see how many people are on. It says only 12 are online, but earlier it showed like 90 people joining, but it wasn't popping up top. And I don't know why it's doing that. This freaking platform just keeps changing and bouncing all the time. But I'm glad that my mic volume's good. I'm glad that I'm able to come on here and at a later time, because I think a lot more people are able to get on the live around this time, so I'm able to assist more. My last video kind of shocked me. I'm surprised that it went out as far as it did. It had died around like hour 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It was getting like 7, 8 views an hour, and I mean, it wasn't even 24 hours. It was only the 7th or 8th hour. And I'm like, well, it's dead. It's just only going out a few people. But then all of a sudden it just boosted and got a lot more. Gosh, I'm already at 1,000 likes. Guys, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Well, feel free to ask any and all questions. You can reach out through DM if you want. I always suggest everybody in watching the playlist on my profile and also studying equity and trust, especially if you're going to try to learn where the real power is on this triangle, the air equity. It is very powerful, and I have a lot of audio on the subject on my website, and I'm constantly updating my website. It takes time, and I gotta be in the mood, and I've got thousands of videos to upload, and I do have just tons and tons of great information that I'm ready to disseminate. I don't know what the future of this platform holds, but right now, everything's just kind of cruising and we're enjoying life. Joseph, I need help with buying a car. Do you need someone to help tell you what kind of car you want, or what do you mean? Are you asking for funds? Are you like need donations or what? What's up, Joseph? You love my videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you watch them in order, Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and Commerce, it will help tremendously. My website address it's long. It's anointednewfoundationofpeace.life, but it is linked on my profile page of TikTok. So if you click on the little emblem, you'll be able to go on my website. It has all my social medias there. It has additional ways to contact me, because if we're not friends, I have to accept your message. But you can email me, you can DM me, you can call me, you can write and contact me in all kinds of ways. Thanks for the follow. Professor Band, do I have to subscribe to be able to access? No, all my information is free. I think the only thing that subscription does is it notifies y'all when I put out a video and when I go live, because sometimes I get suppressed. It's weird. Like my relationship with this platform is just been all over the place. It's like sometimes they like my stuff, they'll blast it out. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's like I'm boxing in the dark. Like I don't know. And then like it blew my mind last time I looked at my last video. It was doing fairly well. And when I say fairly well, I'm talking about now, because back when I first started this journey, my videos were going out to 200, 150,000 people. Now I'm lucky to break 1,000. So when I say it's doing well, it's above 1,000. That's how it is now, and I don't know why it's like that, but it just is what it is now, and I'm at the mercy of the platform because I didn't create it. So, thanks for the follow, Bella D, Charles. When you are going to start your own nation, when are you going to start your own nation? I already did. I already started a sovereign entity that is as powerful as a municipal government. I've been down that road since I started that 8 years ago, 9 years ago. It's hard to believe I've been doing this for 13 years now, or 12 years. It's just, I'm getting old. It's nuts. Joseph, I know what car I want. I'm asking if you know how to buy a car with a signature. yes, you put a signature on a promissory note at a bank, and as long as the U.S. citizen is in good standing and they don't think that they're going to have to repossess the car, they'll give you a loan, and then you can start making payments on it, unless you have the cash, and then you can actually get true title to it. That's one. There's a bunch of different ways to acquire a car. But if you want a brand new one and you want to try to get true title to it, controlling title, and like I said, I suggest watching the playlist on my profile to be able to help understand some of the things I'm talking about. But true controlling title of a car is gained and maintained at the very beginning when it has never been registered. You get the MCO and MSO. All right, where we are. Belladonna. I haven't talked to him in a month. I should soon. Oh, it's Tree. Hey, how you doing? Oh, did you delete your app? You don't have a logo or nothing. I thought that was you being Belladine. Belladine, but I didn't know. Hi, Tree. Hi, Teresa. How you doing? Thanks for coming on. Joseph, yeah, MCO is the true controlling title, and that's what you can gain if you do not put a lien on it. Now, there is kind of a workaround. You can get an unsecured loan. Like, let's say the car is $30,000 buying it outright. You can put down like 10 grand if that's what you have, and then you can get an unsecured loan, which is a higher interest, and then you can use that money to get the car, but you're going to have a higher interest on it. But at least then you can get true controlling title, and then you have to do all kinds of things if you want to travel. And I have playlists on all that stuff on my not on my profile page. It's under commerce. Everybody wants to go to commerce, and I get it. I understand. And it's funny. It's so funny. One of my favorite mentors, he said that once you start talking about money, that's when everybody wants to hop in and jump in and listen. He's like, he's always been a very spiritual guy. I'm spiritual, and but nobody wants to hear any of that jazz. You start talking about money, then you start getting some ears. Everybody wants to hop in. Professor Band 8, do you have tags and a state license plates for your vehicle? My vehicle was acquired from my mother for a very cheap deal back. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago. It was like a $40-something thousand car, and I got it for like 25 grand. So it was already registered. It was already controlled by the state, and I have everything set up to travel without using a license and putting it in my sovereign entity and being able to operate outside of U.S. jurisdiction. I just haven't yet because I haven't had all the funds to acquire a car title. And actually, what's funny is when I almost did, I had 25,000 cash, and I put it down on a car. And my ex-wife, she did not want to operate outside of U.S. jurisdiction. So fast forward many years, we got a loan on it, and I paid it off. And it's just it's we have the certificate of title, and here we go. 3 years later down the road, we split up. I give her the car for $20, $21 to put it in international commercial law. Put it $21, and now she's got to pay, all these taxes, all these tags, all these all this stuff that the controller requires from someone that is messing with their property. So it's like kind of full circle. But she just, not a lot of women want to operate against the grain, or like try to go outside of their comfort zone sometimes, and that's just is what it is. Thanks for the follow, bro. Constitution Academy blocked me for asking questions. That's weird. I don't know who that is. That's depending on, I've had to boot one person on here. They were talking like they were on drugs. I've only had to do that one time. It was wild what they were saying. Like, I've had to block I think 3 people in the couple years that I've been on this platform. Joshua Paul, which is hilarious because there is no money, only debt. 12 US. Yeah, that's true. Any proof of obligation is an asset in the public, and that's kind of what everybody operates on when they think that there's money. It's actually debt obligations of the U.S. So I don't really pay for anything. The U.S. does. The U.S. citizen does. Like, I'm completely out of the system, and it took me a long time to go full circle to that realization, to understand that you're not actually part of the matrix. You can use entities to operate in the matrix with, and then it's up to you what entity you want to use and how you want to do business. And then from there, if you want to start engaging in Federal Reserve notes or for profit or whatever, then you gotta understand all the rules that you're getting involved in when you start doing that kind of stuff. Solo, what's cooking, man? I'm cooking because I just got out of working in the 96, 7-degree heat, and I'm drinking a hot cup of coffee, and it's making me sweat again because I just got out of the shower. Thanks. I'm glad that you're on here. Much appreciated. So anyway, there's a lot of rules to a lot of games that were purposely not taught about, and it's just always been that way, because when you want to control massive amounts of people, you don't ever want to reveal your hand, right? All the good secret stuff is taught to the select elite people. Bella Dean, what do you think about this scripture? Lest you come as little children, you cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, so when you're born again, right? It's on a spiritual level. You got to remember the scripture has a natural, spiritual, and commercial interpretation. Now you got your two main lights, which are natural and spiritual, okay? And then the commercial one is any and all activities in between. So whenever you're reading the scriptures, you got to remember there's different layers. When you're born again, and you start involving yourself beyond the flesh, right? You go past the first stage, the first day, you express the contract, you receive the spirit that's whole and complete, and you start growing more and more closer with the Creator, which is actually part of yourself, because we're all fractals of the Creator at the end of the day. But when you're born again, you become like a child, because the spiritual realm is completely different than the natural realm, although it is somewhat mirrored, okay? So you got to remember, like in our dreams are a spiritual realm full blast, okay? And the spirits speak to us in a lot of ways that we can understand. They use things that we can understand, because we are like little children when it comes to the spiritual world. Until you come to day 7 or day 8 and become complete with the Creator, and y'all become one, and you're able to like bind anything and set everything free, and become basically a God on the earth, or incarnate. Then when you first start your walk, yes, you have to be able to become one with the Creator. My understanding through biblical revelations is you must express that there is a spiritual realm, and it is beyond the flesh, okay? And then once you break that gateway and you make that step, then you're able to enter the kingdom. You're able to start getting into the spiritual and understanding the New Jerusalem, which is Yerushalayim, that we're all one and we're all tied together in the spiritual light. We're actually all tied together in all three of the lights, the natural light, the spiritual light, and the commercial light. But again, as a baby, you have to be born again in order to make that connection with the Holy Spirit to be joined into the city, the New Jerusalem. All right, so let me answer some of these questions. Solo. Like down here in Miami, I took a shower last night going on a date moment. I stepped out sweating. Yeah, I think it's the humidity. That's what it is. Because I want to go to California and just see how it is out there. Because, like I said, one day it was here, it was 84, 85, and I was working outside, and I wasn't sweating at all. And I didn't look at the humidity that day, but I think maybe it was the humidity. Joshua Paul, I really need to figure this out before they go to CBDs and digital IDs. Well, if they do all that, I don't know what you're depending on trying to do with your life, because we're all sovereign, but how far do you want to go with it? Do you want to control your own land? You want to grow your own food? Because I tried doing that. I'm telling you, it takes a lot of effort growing some food. Like, I understand why it's subsidized, because it took a whole lot, but I was using a standing garden bed inside of a greenhouse trying to keep out the chemtrails, and it made it so hot in there. Like, I'd get off work, all the plants were like this. They were all sad. I get off work, they were like, help. And then I'd give them a gallon of water, and they'd all perk back up. And, I've had to put a gallon of water in every single one of those freaking standing beds every day. Every day I get off work. And at the end of the day, after like 5 months of trying to pump, 700, 800,000 gallons of water into this thing, to get a tomato. Now, granted, it was the best tasting tomato that I had in like forever, but it's like, daggone it, you just go to the store and spend $1 and get an organic tomato at that point. Solo, a legal sense when you're born again. That means you're no longer lost and see age of majority. So if you're talking in a commercial sense, when you're born, your mom as the agent pledges all of your future commercial value to the state, okay? And then you can reclaim that once you become the age of majority, which is 18. And there's codes that say, there's a code, I think, in the Social Security that says it doesn't matter what age you are, if you haven't reclaimed the securities in your estate, you're still a minor in their eyes. So we're all children in the eyes of the state, no matter what age we are, until we actually come to the realization and get to the age to be able to operate properly commercially. Now, you got to remember, commercial is a dead entity, but commerce can also mean the exchange of anything of value, or any interactions or exchange of anything. Like, my words have value. You can create contracts by your voice. All right, solo, legal sense C. Also means you know who you are and separate yourself into identity. Yes, a living man. So we're all living men and women, and that's the whole trick, right? Everybody gets deceived into thinking they are the U.S. citizen because it has the same name and it sounds the same as what we're all called. But guess what? I have a cat that calls me meow. I have a daughter who calls me dad. I have an ex-wife who calls me crazy. I have a girlfriend who calls me babe. I have a mom who calls me son. So what am I, right? I have a job where people call me landlord. I have, on and on and on. What am I? What title do I have? I have unlimited title. I have unlimited ability to contract. I am everything. I'm a fractal of the creator, And it just takes it takes time to understand that the entity that is a U.S. citizen is just a commercial tool that you can use to engage in contracts. You don't have to use it. You can dock it, okay? It's just up to you. All right. Also means when you... Okay, all right. Is that a double? I think you said that twice. A fictitious entity that means you are one now with God and nature. A fictitious entity is just a commercial tool that you can use. I hate speech text. You were typing so fast. I'm like, you got to be like me. My problem is sometimes I don't proofread, but I love speech to text. But you have to proofread. You just have to. Todd, good to see you, Charles. Hope you're doing. I am doing well. I am over here loving life. I'm living large. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast solo. Belladonna, I agree. I'm aware. I think that in regards to the BC estate, we need to return to being completely helpless and come to the executors of their estate on the person and ask for provision for the person. So you have to come in peace, and you have to come in with understanding, and you have to come in through the DTC understanding how kind of like everything works. You have to understand that the U.S. citizen is a tool, and your birthright, a commercial entity, your value was pledged to them. Okay, but they allow you to access it if you come to the understanding of the knowledge to be able to access it. But again, you have to know a lot, and it's not for everybody. And there's a reason why you have to sign an NDA if you go through all that stuff, because you can't talk about it to everybody, because it will crash the entire system. The whole charade, the House of Cards, Smoke and Mirrors, is created to keep everybody in lockstep for a reason. Thanks for the follow, One God Energy. Solo, it does take a lot of work, but we're into the habit of throwaway society, everything being handed. Yeah, and I look at things all the time where it's like, do I keep it? Because I'm pretty good. I'm handy. I'm really, really good at maintaining things. And everything is created to have... I just ate a can of soup that's over a year old. I've watched movies where people will go into trailers and they get cans of food that are 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 years old, and they just open it up and eat it. Like, everything has a false... what is it called? It's called manufactured lack, okay? Because corporate, and this is why the public for-profit system is so insidious, is because it is all about bottom dollar and making money off of sweat equity and keeping the pyramid of commercial people on the board at the top and the worker bees at the bottom in ignorance, just making sweat equity labor. So when it comes to manufactured lack, there is more than enough for everybody. Everybody. Why don't you look up all the cars that are brand new rusting in lots that never got sold, or all the food that gets thrown away because nobody bought it? There is so much for everybody that could go around and feed everybody. It just is what it is. But if somebody's not making money off of it, or it's not worth something, or whatever, they'll just throw it away. There's huge landfills full of good food. There's of cars, of material, like there's plenty to go around. But that for-profit system doesn't allow it to happen, and that's why it is taxed so heavily by the IRS. The IRS is a neutral third-party accounting system established by the creditors of the U.S. to try to keep throttle on for-profit. And everybody hates them and thinks that they're an enemy and stuff, but you got to remember, in this commercial game, you got to come at it from a neutral eye. Okay, they're just accountants that are reporting, just like the credit bureau agencies. They're just reporting stuff that was given to them. Solo, correct. That's exactly what I mean. Correct. Your true name is your first name. So your true name. So you have a spiritual name, you got a natural name, and you got a commercial name. Okay, and you could have several of all of them. No, speech and sex. All right, Jimmy, it's called Alice in Wonderland. She went from real to fiction. Yeah, and it's like The Matrix. And what's cool about the, what's cool about movies is they explain and express a lot that you can learn from. And guys, I watched Deadpool with my girl the other day, and I ain't never watching that again. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny, but there was so much blasphemy and like I can't watch it again. But it was funny, I enjoyed it. But daggone, the guy was calling himself Jesus the Messiah the whole time, the Savior of the world and stuff, and I ain't doing that. Solo, stand and who you are, because they would throw legally leaves all over you, and if you don't know how. That's why I don't understand people want to become sovereign, right? Granted more power to you. Well, we're all sovereign anyway, no matter what. It's up to you what you want to do with that sovereign. Planned obsolescence. That's right. Manufactured lacked and planned obsolescence. They could make cars that last for almost ever. They could make, like I said, the food. And the same thing with the medical industry. There's no profit in curing people so that they never come back. They want to make continued customers for life, right? Because if you cure somebody, they're done. That's why nature can't be patented, and that's why they don't cure anything, because if they did, then you wouldn't be a customer that keeps returning. So all of this food, I'm not saying do this with everything, but the majority of this food has a date for expiration that's false, because they want you to look at it and go, oh crap, it's bad, and throw it away, and now I got to go get another one, because they want you to keep buying and buying and buying. It's all about commerce. And every corporation is in the business of trying to speed up commerce, trying to do more, trying to grow. If not, it could wither away and die. And you can almost do the exact same things with a for-profit that you can with a not-for-profit, except for try to hide funds. Guys, this live video will be on YouTube. The audio will be on Telegram group. All of my social medias are linked on my website, which is linked on my profile page of TikTok. I have playlists on my profile page to help re-educate. Please take some time to go through it. I have auxiliary information on my website. You can DM me, email me, and write me and call me and like whatever. If you don't have any questions that you want to put on here, I can ask you later. It's called Marvel Jesus. Yeah, it was something like that. Like it was too blasphemous and too, I don't know. It was just I ain't gonna watch that again. But it was funny. I had liked all the Deadpools up until then. Solo, Big Pharma, they profit off of our sickness. Yes, yeah. It's slowly the whole system is set up to keep us down. They want to have us sick, uneducated in boxes, working 6 days a week, with just enough to rub together at the end of the day, just so that you don't survive, or so you can survive. And then the whole IRS game, it's like a Ponzi scheme where they give you just enough back so you keep playing the game. At the end of the year, unless depending on how much for profit or whatever you got going on. But Solo, notice when you go to the supermarket and they have the mist machine on that makes your fruits. Yeah, I know. I try my best to buy organic, but even then it still has a limited or approved amount from the Federal Death Agency, the FDA. They still have a approved amount of fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, growth hormones, all that jazz is still in the organics, but it's less, right? And then another funny thing, they've done all these studies. Like, nobody wants to grab the last vegetable, if you have a huge vat or pen and there's only one cucumber in it, nobody wants it. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. Nobody wants it because it's like, if nobody else wanted that daggone cucumber, something must be wrong with it. I don't want it. It's just one. Well, the same thing with blemishes. Like, if you grow your own food, it's not supposed to look perfect. Like, each one's supposed to have little blemishes, little flaws, little color variations, all that stuff. But that's not what's in the grocery store. If you go in a grocery store, every one of them looks flawless and perfect because they know if there's any flaw, your average person will not buy it. Because it's like, oh, there must be something wrong with that. Oh, like if you look up real potatoes or real tomatoes, or if you grow your own stuff, you know what I'm talking about. The stuff is supposed to, and that's what it's supposed to look like. All that stuff out there on the grocery shelf is all manufactured looking. It's like synthetically, farmers, oh, dang, this is beautiful. I watched this video on weight loss. Check this out. So, apparently farmers have known about weight loss way longer than anybody else, okay? And this video basically said that when a farmer wants to sell a cow for slaughter, what it does, it feeds cows hay, and it puts nutrients, pellets in its food, okay? So its whole life the cow is eating hay with nutrients mixed in with its hay, because hay doesn't have a whole bunch of nothing in it, right? You're just eating hay. But they put the pellets in the food that the cow needs in order for its body to be nourished. And apparently, a month before they sell the cows, here's what they do. A month before they sell the cows, they take away all the pellets. And then suddenly, the cow is just eating hay. And then all of a sudden, its body knows that it's lacking nutrients. So what it does is it starts looking at everything as food. Like, it wants to eat everything. It wants to eat more hay. It wants to eat more grass. And then the farmer said on day 7, something switches in the nervous system where it thinks it's going into famine mode, okay? So now it's not only eating everything in sight, it's also thinking its body is thinking it's going through times of famine, so it starts turning all of that food into fat for storage to try to make it through famine. So its body knows that it's missing nutrients, it's eating everything it can in sight, and it's turning everything into fat. So by day 30, the cow is fat, it's full of absolutely nothing, garbage but hay, right? It's all that nutrients. But guess what? The same thing happens with us. If we do not have the proper nutrients, minerals, right? So I use moringa, and I use Irish sea moss, and I sprinkle Celtic sea salt on all kinds of food, because all that stuff has all the minerals that our bodies need. And if you're not getting the minerals that you need, your body knows it, and it just wants to eat everything. So apparently, when you start getting all of the nutrients that your body needs, all the minerals and stuff, you will stop having all these cravings for garbage. You'll stop wanting to. It's not about exercise, right? I mean, theoretically, yes, you can. As long as you burn off more calories than you consume, you'll lose weight. But if you're not getting the appropriate nutrients and minerals, your body knows that it's missing something. And all animals are like this. That's why you'll see dogs eating grass. You'll see dogs eating bugs and stuff, because it's minerally deficient, and it's trying to find things that it needs in order to get its body in equilibrium. So you got to listen to your body when it's talking about it. Solo, yep, like us, yep. Respect, reprogram mind and body, absolutely. Professor Band, do you use Shilajit? I've heard of that, but I haven't looked. Is that black tar stuff supposed to have all the essential minerals you need? No, like I said, between moringa and Irish sea moss, and I think it has something else in it, burdock root or something. Dr. Savy was a big handle on getting a grasp of some of my education on health, and I'm not saying he was whole and complete about everything. I know he's slightly racial undertones, but Understanding that our bodies are basically banks, and that it's a battery where you have acid and alkaline stuff, right? And you got to keep it balanced. And if you're staying in a very acidic state, that's where cancer grows. Like sugar is very acidic. I try not to eat a lot of sugars. This stuff, unfortunately, is pretty acidic. This coffee, but I try to. I try to stay in an alkaline state. I mean, I drink a lot of spring water and stuff. I do have a cup of coffee or so, but is what it is. All right. I think we should eat grass too. Yeah, I do. I'm vegan. No, belladonna. Or belladine. That is just the animal's body trying to find the nutrients that it can, because when its central nervous system switches into famine mode, it wants to eat anything and everything because it thinks that it's famine's coming. It's trying to store up fat. It's missing minerals and nutrients. What is most important is getting the minerals that your body needs, okay? And then staying in an alkaline type of state, type of diet. And then that will change a lot of what's going on. It'll change your mood, your aura. Our natural body kind of emanates, of course our spirits control everything, right? And your chakras and stuff are all energy sensors and forces and fields that go in and out. But you gotta remember that spiritually we're like antennas and we can sense everything. And even oh my gosh, entertainment industries know this stuff. Like we're like tuning forks. That's why you watch these sitcoms of this stupid stuff that happens. Like somebody gets hit in the head with a hamster, and they play a whole crowd of people laughing in the background, and you're naturally wanting to laugh because we're vibing, right? You pick up all that stuff. Veronica, how you doing? Thanks for the hearts, or finger hearts. Much appreciated. Your gifts will be used to help others. Thanks for coming on. Nice to see you. Solo, cleans your pineal gland. Which vets don't even know why dogs may eat grass. Oh no, nobody in the medical industry is taught any of this stuff. Solo, thank you for a rose. Much appreciated. No, the doctors are I only really trust the medical industry for certain surgeries, right? But other than that, when it comes to prescriptions, like they are taught completely wrong. And there's some doctors that come to this realization, understanding that, the Rockefellers basically funded and created the medical industry, and they get to dictate and control which they created. And they're pushing petroleum-based products that will never heal anything, and they cause more issues than they fix, because it is all about repeat customers, right? Again, they don't want to heal nothing, or they would be prescribing herbs and all that stuff. Like that's what medicine really started to be originally, was eating herbs and vegetables and fruits and getting you the minerals your bodies need. How many doctors do you go to that start tell you what minerals you're deficient in, or what your alkaline pH balance is? How many doctors you go to that tell you about that? No, they look up a book. They say, "Oh yeah, you got a scab here. You need to take this medicine." I think the C word is one of the only things where they get kickback on before C19, the cancer. They would get kickback for everyone who goes through chemo. So they would be basically incentivized to push that on people. And I think that has a 98% death rate. I'm kind of interested to see how high. Let's see, what is chemo's death percentage rate? I should have put success rate. Chemo's, let me put let's put success rate. They probably don't want to publish that. I don't see that stuff coming on. They probably don't want to show that. Stage cancer diagnosis, mass survival. 14%. So less than 14% chance of success. So you've basically got an 86% chance of it not working. All right, hold on, let me answer some questions. All right. Professor Band, is Satan the God of the Old Testament? Satan is the controller of the natural light. Okay? He has been given authority to operate and control a lot in the natural light, but he can also operate in the spiritual as well. But this natural realm, this temporary thing, is basically is his. Okay, Lucifer, the light bearer, the sun, the spot with blemishes. That is what I'm talking about. The spiritual light, the light that is whole, complete, and perfect, the Holy Spirit light, that is under control of the Creator. Now, of course, in a big picture, everything is in control from the creators, right? But this game has been established for a reason, okay? You're supposed to sacrifice the animal that you've been given in order to become one with the Creator, okay? This natural body will never, ever be satisfied. It will always need oxygen, sex, food, entertainment, joy, all this stuff that you can put down, okay, and come to a higher spiritual elevation of understanding that we're all tied together in one in the lights, okay. But Satan is the prince of the temporary, okay, and that is the natural realm, the natural light. Where are we at? Cleanse your pineal gland. Hola. Please tap the screen. Thank you. Well, they're tapping the screen, homegirl. I'm up to 3,000 likes. Solo, notice how doctors are quick to write a prescription, but not to give you advice on how. Yeah, someone will say, well, are you smoking? Yeah, you probably shouldn't smoke. Are you exercising? Oh, yeah, you should probably exercise. Oh, what's that rash? Here, let me prescribe 16 petroleum-based products that you can smear on your back for that. Yeah, and then I'll see you next month. Now, $70 at the gate. Thanks for paying for your health insurance, which Obama is basically putting a lien on all U.S. citizens to prevent something. You know, I don't want to say too much because it'll get crazy, but Belladine. If you look up prescription in the Admiralty Law, Black's Dictionary, it's a very insightful thing. I would love to look that up. I have all of those dictionaries on my website too. Prescription. I wonder what the etymology is of prescription. Etymology. All right, let's see what etymology says. Prescription. In law, a title or right acquired through a long use or uninterrupted possession. Wow. And directly from Latin, nominative, writing before order, direction. But a title or right acquired through long use or there you go. You know, they prescribe stuff so you never ever heal. That is great. All right. Excuse me. Love burping on the mic. Why not? All right. Kickback. Docs get kickback from drug companies. Yeah, that's true. I bet you they get more kickback than they're saying out in the public. Charles, what do you think about the scriptures of the Anunnaki? Yeah, so if you honestly want my true opinion on it, it appears from my thousands of hours of research that we're living in an enclosed system. Okay, we're not on a spinning ball that accidentally happened mindlessly wandering through space. And one of my greatest proofs is the video that I put out and gave a challenge to anybody and said, I'll pay you $5,000 if you can basically show me why the North Star stays stationary year after year after year after year after year. If we're spinning all those crazy things and we have a wobble and we have a precession and we have all this stuff. But that's just one of the many, many weird things. So, Solo, Professor, is the word cancer trademark? I have heard that the word, I think cancer in all capital letters is trademarked by, but I don't think the word itself is because it's been used in the astrological signs for many, many years. I think before pharma put you can trademark words, right? You can turn them into a corporation, but you cannot copyright them. Professor Belladine. If you haven't before, prescribing the docking agent and the vessel they prescribe frequent prescription cause the vessel to lose personal rights over their own property. Wow, that's very impressive. I have not. I'd have to look that up in Black Soul, like I said. You must, yes. Key Insight. Oh yeah. Belladine, when one visits the doctor often, they give their rights to themselves. Yeah, and that's. I love that people want to try to get better, but they don't do the education. And I even have heard people say that, because the doctor spent 8 years in they're indoctrinated. They're indoctrinated. They're taught just like we are. We're not taught about taxes or corporate, how to run corporations or none of that stuff, or what your signature really means or endorsement or, about the DTC or titles or rights or trusts. We're not taught any of that things in school. Like, I literally found in one of my videos, and lay it all out, that the schools are there to create capital creating minions. Okay, that's it. They don't want you to think outside of the box. They don't want you to live long. They just want you to work until you're 60 and then just curl up, and then that's game over. They just, until you're at that point, you're a liability. Solo, yes, thank you. You're welcome. Solo, I've read that every sickness we have is due to parasites. I've also heard that every sickness is a dis-ease, okay, that stems from lack of either your pH balance, mucus, that and I don't know how true that is. But I try to parasite cleanse, and a lot of countries do it all the time. And for some reason, the U.S. just doesn't preach that or teach that or whatever. But yeah, I think spiritually there's parasites, naturally there's parasites, and commercially there's parasites. And you have to watch out for all of them. That is 100%. Got True, thanks for the share of the live. Solo, yes, thank you for your open mind about a alleged globe. You're very welcome. I mean, like I said, I don't know what the shape is, but from my appearance, from what it seems, from Operation Fishbowl, where they started shooting nuclear or shooting nukes at the sky to try to figure out what was going on, and then somehow before we went to the moon, we sent something to Mars and Venus and stuff like that. And it was just kind of, I don't know, stuff's just very wishy-washy. I don't know. And then another thing, the deepest that we've ever been into the earth is 8 miles. Okay, and all those pictures that you see of what they say, which you're brought up and taught in the indoctrinated public fool system of what the earth looks like on the inside, that's all make-believe, because nobody has ever been below 8 miles in the crust. Okay, nobody knows what's beyond that or below that, except for the creators or people who are one with the creator or have divine spiritual enlightenment about what's going on down there. But all right, guys, guess what? I made it to the bottom, and it's been an hour, and it's Friday. I'm probably going to pick up my daughter. She's going to spend the night with me. We got some swimming lessons tomorrow. And other than that, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask. Guys, the video will be on YouTube. The audio will be on my Telegram group. I have playlists on my profile to help re-educate you. On my profile, I also have a website linked with auxiliary information, including all my social medias. Please feel free to go through all that stuff. Love you too, Veronica. Thank you so much for joining. Solo, behind the film, them leave the moon. Yeah, we ain't been to the moon. I heard it's a plasma ball. You can't, I'm glad you're on this journey. Like I said, spend time, watch the playlists on my profile. It will help. It will change your world, change your life, guys. Thanks for all the shares, the likes, the follows, the gifts. Again, all your gifts will be used to help others. Thank you for becoming enlightened. I hope y'all enjoy your weekend. I'll try to catch you next week. Like I said, I'm getting back in the groove. I can put out like a video once a week now, I think, and do a live once a week. Other than that, I am busy, and feel free to reach out to me, DM me, email me, write me, all that stuff. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Thank you all. 5,000 likes.